watching Snowden tonight at Brennan Theaters, based on Edward Snowden. It is a little lengthy, but it doesn't mean that it's boring or it's gonna lose you. There's a lot of dialogue. It's not like one of those things where there's an epic battle on a street and explosions. And no, it's more of a behind the closed door. You gotta get all the exposition for all that. So it's interesting when you're watching it because you're kind of seeing how this person is, how most of us, like, oh, we assume the government is legit, they're not shady. Boy, are we wrong. The movie as a whole is very informative, especially if you've heard of Edward Snowden or anything about this. It's very interesting to see that one person became a whistleblower and like exposed this whole thing. Parts of our government's like, oh, well, he's a criminal. Not really. He just kind of called you out on your bullshit and now you're mad at him for it. I liked the movie, minus the fact it's kind of lengthy.
I feel this movie was split into two pieces. You have the technical side of Edward Snowden, which is his work and the questionable things that are going on within his work that you're witnessing and you're learning about. Then you have his personal life. And this movie does a good job of splitting down the center. So you get to see who Edward Snowden is as a person, but at the same time you get to see who he is as a professional. While there were a lot of points during his professional portion of this where I didn't follow the technobabble, like if you were to ask me what his jobs were, for example, and all the different points of his career, I have no idea what he was doing in any of them. And I'm actually a pretty technical person myself. So a lot of that stuff went over my head, but I got the basic gist of what was going on, and I definitely understood what the moral dilemma was, what caused him to do what he did. I can say I understood that. Being the duality of the film, where you see his professional side and his personal side, you do get to see a real person, a fully fleshed out person, which I think is very important because you don't want to just go in and get dumped with a bunch of facts and just download it into this thing and then be over. You want to see who the person was. You want to follow the journey with them. And I feel that was probably why the length of the movie was so important. They had to show both aspects of it. With just showing one or just showing his professional life, I think the movie would have been dry. And I don't think you would have really gotten the idea of the personal sacrifice he made to do this.
This movie is what I would call scary good. Frightening, in fact, because if it was simply fictional, most people would probably say, wow, this is too unreal to be believed and it's kind of fake. So that's what makes it scary, is that this is real. This really happened, and not that long ago. I think that this is an important movie that everyone needs to see. I definitely found myself empathizing with, really rooting for the character in this film. I'm sure part of it is because we share the same first name. Regardless of that, this is a portrait of a person clearly shown to be a fan of America. He literally takes lie detector tests in his lifetime where people ask him, do you think this is the greatest country in the world? And he says yes. If you're gonna question whether or not this person loves America, I think that should say it all. Now, it doesn't say it all, and that's why the movie is almost 2.5 hours long, rather than just 2 lie detector questions.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he's an interesting actor. I've seen him in different things, so it's nice to see when he shows a different side of his acting skills. Shailene Woodley, you were there, you were nice, you were pretty. It was nice seeing Nick Cage. I didn't know he was going to be in this, and he was just kind of there.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is definitely the star of the movie, carries the weight of the movie, and does an incredible job. I was super impressed. He has a pretty large body of work, pretty big variety, and really pulled this off, made it very believable. He shares some of the screen time with his romantic co-star, and that provided a human element to the film that made it a little more relatable between his side of things, which is definitely more technical, and then his girlfriend, which was definitely much more of, I would say, like the average person that maybe is not technologically savvy, is just trying to live their life and be happy. And I thought that the two of them created this story that was very relatable.
But I feel that this movie did a good job of presenting the facts. It leans more towards the whistleblower side of things, making him out to be more of a good guy. But I do believe they showed enough of what happened to really present you with the case so that you can make a decision based off of whether you feel he was a traitor or whether you feel he was a whistleblower. The movie's a little slow. I feel that there were quite a few points in the movie where they could have probably sped it up a little bit, especially some of the points where he goes from job to job to job. And each time he goes to a new job, they spend a lot of time building around that new job. Whereas in all reality, the last job is the only one that's really important.
All in all, I think this is an important movie to be seen. It's actually good also, which is not easy to do.
All in all, for being an informative movie, I don't feel the movie is one-sided. I really feel they showed both sides of all of it. As Edward Snowden said, he wants the information out there for the people to make their own decision on it. So with all that said, it's definitely worth watching. It's one of those movies where it's like, if someone starts mouthing off and they don't know what they're talking about, you're like, here, educate yourself. shut the up. I'm gonna give the movie a 9 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
I'm gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10.
Like I said, yeah, it had, as people put, lengthy parts or boring parts, but that's because you gotta get all your information before you go to the next step, or otherwise you'll be really lost as to, wait, what did he do, or wait, what's going on here? Just, you have to get all that, and it makes sense. Go see it. If you're interested, go see it. If you wanna learn something new, go see it. If you like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, go see it.
It's a little dry, it's a little slow, but it's extremely informative. If this is a topic that you're interested in, if this is something you want to know more about, I highly suggest watching this movie. It's well acted, well shot, well done, and you really get a good view of the situation. By the time you get to the end of the movie, you have a good understanding of what's going on.
There were a couple of performances that were maybe a little bit over the top, a little bit cheesy. A little bit of camera work that was questionable, maybe wasn't the most quality that I've ever seen. The importance of the story, quality of the acting, and that human element to the bigger picture, I think it's worth it.
Let's mix things up a little bit. Let's get a debate going on here. Is Edward Snowden a hero or a traitor? There's no wrong answer. It's your own opinion. Throw it down in the comment section below. I'd really like to read it, and I'll even jump in and be a part of that. Go on ahead and like this video and favorite it. Subscribe to our channel for more reviews like this and other shenanigans that we do all the time, plus unboxing videos. And remember, you heard it here at the source.